Good morning, everyone. We will start the program shortly.
Almighty God, we stand in your holy presence as our supreme judge. We humbly beseech you to bless and inspire us so that what we think, say, and do will be in accordance with your will. Enlighten our minds, strengthen our spirit, and fill our hearts with fraternal love, wisdom, and understanding, so that we can become effective channels of truth, justice, and peace. In our proceedings today, guide us in the path of righteousness for the fulfillment of your greater glory. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the New Normal and Ways Forward, a mental health webinar on managing mental health as law students during the pandemic. This is brought to you by Sarimanok Virtual Law Clinic and Iligan Youth Mental Health Advocates. I am Gian Marcera, your moderator for this morning. It's a sunny morning at 9 o'clock, and I hope that everyone's waking up to a good one. It's been nearly a month since we started the new semester, and I could attest to it myself that things are starting to get overwhelming with all the tons of readings, rounds of recitations, and you name it, hence the burnout. The truth is that almost everyone experiences burnout at some point in our lives. It is the result of our brain and body telling us that it's time for a break, and a non negotiable one at that. It is important that we put ourselves first before getting back to the grind. As we go through the topics in today's webinar, it will surely help us consider making some changes in our daily structure and our study routine, along with assessing what we may be doing to cause extra stress to ourselves and our health, both emotionally and physically. But before that, let us call in Sir Fiel to remind everyone of the house rules. Sir Fiel?
Okay, thank you very much, Jane. To our Assistant Dean of College of Law, Iligan Campus, and Sarimanok Virtual Law Clinic Supervising Lawyer, Attorney Joey Alino Adisocor. To our speakers and participants from different campuses, magandang buhay. Okay, this webinar activity is designed to provide avenue to all law students who are prone and vulnerable to different kinds of mental issues. Especially now we are adapting a new normal due to coronavirus. And after this activity, we aim that the participants know the appropriate definition of mental health, differentiate common loosely used terms of mental health, learn and demonstrate practical ways in taking care of our mental health, define and explain or articulate the nature of burnout, and to be able to explain the indicators of burnout and to know if you are experiencing it and provide tips to prevent experiencing burnout. And to ensure this the attainment of these objectives, we encourage everybody to observe our house rules. Please see to it that there are no disturbances like background noise or people moving around to avoid distractions. Test your equipment, laptop, microphone, and speakers before joining the meeting. Choose a spot and with unlimited strong connection. Use headphones or earphones to reduce the background noise. If possible, sit in a lit and noise-free room. And in your profile, kindly display your picture and name yourself formally the way you would want to present yourself in actual meeting. Be polite, do not interrupt. If you wish to speak or have any position or motion to raise your hands so that the facilitator, co-host will recognize you and allow you to speak. Participants are encouraged to actively participate by typing your questions, comments, or suggestions in the chat box. Always put your microphone on mute. You are requested to unmute yourself, and certificates will be issued only to registered participants who will accomplish the evaluation form at the end of the webinar. Thank you and enjoy our activity.
Thank you, Sir Fiel. And without any further ado, let us call in one of the pillars of Sarimanok, a catalyst of change for our paradigm shift in learning, the Assistant Dean for Iligan Campus and for Clinical Legal Education Program, Attorney Joanna Alinog Bisocor. Let's give AD heart reactions.
Good morning.
Good morning, AD.
Glad to see my face. That's why can you do a spotlight? Good morning. Good morning, everyone. There are around 100 participants on Sunday morning. I know it's a day for family day, a church day, a day you want to rest. But we can always watch and relax at home and, have our nothing fix. This is not stressful. This is something that, would help us check our mental health. I would like to ask everyone firstly, how are everyone feeling? Can we do a reaction? Hard reaction or a sad reaction or whatever. May sad, may isang sad. May isang parang, ano ba yan, takot. May isang parang poker face. As in, marami talagang may sad face pa. Talaga may sad? Why is everybody crying? May mga cry pa. Ano ba yan? Bakit? Giving up na on law school? Well, later we will hear from our speakers. How are we going to handle that? Anyway, I'd like to thank first Iligan Youth Mental Health Advocate for giving us this, hindi naman, ano ba to? Because I was told that it was the Sarimanok contacted Iligan Youth Mental Health Advocate, okay, para dito. And I'm so happy. Actually, I'm so excited to listen also because we professors actually, sana may mga ganito din sa mga professors, no? Mental health check on our mental health kasi makasira na din ang ulo ng ganito na we've been used to facing the students physically. Hindi kami used to, ganito online. So, sana may ganito din sa mga professors. If I'm not mistaken, your head is Dr. Sage. Sino ba ang head ng this Iligan mental health advocate? May I ask somebody from?
Good morning, AD. Dr. Sage is one of our mentors po. Dr. Ray Sage.
Kasi sana may ganito din sa mga professors. We really also badly need this. And I'm really excited to listen what will be, how are we handling this? Because from what I know, pre-COVID, meron ng mga mental health issues. Okay? This has been, pre-COVID may mga ganito na mental health forum, lalo na sa law school. Every time, because I always handled first years, and every time in my class, I would always tell the class, if you are not happy anymore, and you are no longer productive, and this is not, making your life, the way the normal, if it's, making you parang miserable, then stop law school. Talagang I would tell them because may mga issues talaga sa mental health in law school. Pre-COVID yun and somehow I know it siguro maybe the thought that may friends na nakikita and then after class nagbabanding, nag-iinuman or whatever, however they have coffee, have chika, have sleepovers, because those are your ways to release your stress, your anxiety, pressures, and all that. But ngayon na COVID, paano? Di ba? How? That's why I'm really excited to listen later. How are we going to deal with this? Kasi talaga ang hirap. Kasi before, ang bilis, parang madali nating ilabas kasi because we have friends and we can see, all this. Then may mga, and I love to travel. I know also the law students before, meron silang mga, talagang lumalabas sila, mga group of, talagang nagpupuntahan somewhere. And ngayon wala na. So di ba, how are we handling this? And anyway, I also attended this externship course training, and lahat yung mga lawyers and one of the issues there was that how do we balance work life and our mental health. Napag-usapan din yun doon. So see, with us lawyers, we have that issues. How much more sa inyo grabe yung pressure. So there were suggestions that cross-stitch, cross-stitch, right? That's cross-stitch, yung mga baking, mga ganyan, mga niluluto pero hindi naman daw siya kumakain. Nagluluto lang daw talaga siya para pamigay and makita niyang nasasarapan yung mga binibigyan niya. Nahahappy na siya. So now there's these ways to make your mental health, okay pa. So there was also a question that how to do that. And this lawyer from Vermont Law School said that as lawyers, it is our obligation now to, check our mental health. So, naging obligation siya kasi dapat we have to be competent. We have to make sure that, we are talking to clients, talking to our students na okay pa kami. Kasi we are, up there and parang tinitingala. So dapat kami mismo, we are also good. We are also, in our state of mind na ewan, hindi ko siya ma-explain. Pero sometimes talaga burnout, anxiety, pressure, stress. I don't know if some of the professors, they say minsan doon daw napapalabas sa mga students ang kanilang stress. So in the end, parang wala lagi sa mood si professor. Yung mga student ang pinapagalitan. Doon nilalabas sa inyo ang kanilang stress, ang kanilang anxiety, kanilang depression, whatever, however you call that. I know that, of course, kasi I'm also a student. I am enrolled in a master program with San Beda, and minsan in our group chat, napag-uusapan na parang wala sa mood si sir, parang wala sa mood si ma'am. May mga ganyan. Okay, so let's listen from our speakers later. How you handle this stress, this anxiety, this pressure, because it's only been almost a month na. No? I know, grabe na ang pressure sa lahat. The same way ang professors did, because we have new professors, and I'm sure the professors also have, we had a faculty meeting yesterday, and some of the professors raised this issue that iba daw talaga ang mga estudyante ngayon. Ang mga estudyante ngayon is they are, how do you say this? Feeling entitled. Yung gusto nila masunod yung gusto nila. And if di masunod yung gusto nila, magra-rank. Something like that. So, naisip ko, kasi meron din isang professor nagsabi na iba nga talaga ang generation. Iba din yung this thought of yung attention, yung focus, iba. Kasi merong isang professor doon, nilagay niya yung mga generations ng mga students that eto na generation, ito maliit ang pasensya. Ito mga generation, ito yung mga mababait, talagang nakikinig, yes, yes lang ng ganyan, yes ng yes. Ito naman yung daming mga tinatanong, daming like that. So these are also issues that some of the professors had to deal with our students. So sana may ganito kami sa mga professors na mental health forum, because pati kami nasisiraan na din ng bait para sa mga estudyante namin. Hindi na namin alam paano sila kasi wow. But anyway, let's enjoy, let's listen to our speakers in the confines of your home. Kasi lahat naman tayo, on a Sunday, we're just at home. I'm not at home, I'm in the office. So see, pati ako na nasali yung Sunday ko. I'm supposed to be relaxing, but I'm here because I really wanted you also to join this and listen, because we all need this. Kahit ako, because when I was appointed as the assistant dean, my life turned 360. Hindi na ako active sa social media. I know some of the students here are, my friends in Instagram, and they barely see me post. Talagang wala na akong post. Hindi na ako nagpo-post. Hindi na ako even my Twitter is so silent. Kasi talagang wala. My life has turned like 360 degrees when I was appointed as assistant dean. Nagre-reklamo na din ng husband ko kasi wala na daw akong attention sa kanya. My son, nagmo-module na. Talaga, oh my God, how will I? So anyway, later, I hope I will learn a thing or two how to handle all this, kasi pati ako na nag-burn out din. So, I think that's all from me. Welcome everyone and enjoy.
Thank you, AD. We are very much grateful to the college, especially to you, for seeing the importance of mental health and looking after the students' mental well-being through making this webinar possible, especially that, like I said earlier, in law school, we are very much vulnerable to stressors. And to introduce our keynote speaker, let us call in the president of Iligan Youth Mental Health Advocates, Joshua Matthew Sanchez. I guess there is a last minute change of the order. So instead of the keynote speaker, let's proceed to our first speaker. Let
Thank
us
you
call
so
in,
Thank you so much, GN. Our first speaker for today is one of the advocates for mental health awareness and self-care practice. He is a former public information officer and former president in Psychology Society at LaSalle University, Ozame City during his college years, and continued to pursue his love for the field of psychology despite his transfer to Cagayan de Oro City. He finally graduated on 2013 with a bachelor's degree in psychology at Xavier University Ateneo de Cagayan. He's one of the believers that one should never stop from learning. Given this, after graduating from college while working at Cagayan de Oro College or CUC as a psychology instructor, he continued to further his knowledge and skills and took up professional education last 2014 and then passed the licensure examination for teachers on the same year. He is also a graduate of Master of Arts in Psychology in Xavier Ateneo University and currently preparing for the upcoming board exam to be a registered psychologist. He has always been passionate in sharing his experience and knowledge in the field of psychology and mental health, and he has various experience as a speaker in this area of thought. He is currently working at the Department of Education Division of Cagayan de Oro and also a college faculty. Currently single but not actively looking, a servant leader and a progressing servant of God. Help me welcome everyone, Mr. Earl Winmer Armangmang, LPT MA Psychology.
Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. If I may ask, no, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible po.
Okay. Kindly catch my attention lang if ever no, I am not audible on your end, right? So, siguro to start with, no, I would want to say thank you and congratulations. So, thank you for inviting me over, no, to this prestigious circle of professionals and wanting to be lawyers, no, future lawyers. So I'm very much thankful and grateful for the opportunity, no, for us mental health advocates, be part of your journey also. And I would want to congratulate you ahead of time also for saying yes, no, for really taking on the humility, to learn, maybe enhance the self. Respecting the self has always been supposed to be part of life's mission. And congratulations for really adhering to that concept. Okay, so I would not want to also acknowledge, no, the assistant deans sharing kanina. Mental health has always been for everyone. No, it's not something. Even if we are intellectually inclined in many aspects of our lives, mental health is there. No? And that's very much, I think, if bilin ako mag-present, that can be a good sum, of the presentation. So thank you so much also for the officers of various organizations, no, who took the initiative to really organize this event. So congratulations to all of you, to the Sarimanok Virtual Law Clinic, the Iligan Youth Mental Health Advocates, the MSU College of Law, the Iligan Extension Legal Aid Clinic, the professors, and also, of course, the students. No? So thank you so much for coming over. So this juncture, allow me to present giingon dire kay host disabled participants screen sharing. Can you allow me to be a co-host? Okay. Is my screen visible on your end?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So let me jump into the topic already, no? Okay, medyo limited ra po ang time, so I can maybe capture many points, no? That might be helpful on your end also. So my topic for discussion is understanding mental health, basically correcting the misconceptions about mental health. No? And then later on, we'll explore maybe things, no, that can be effective for you to also do, practical suggestions that you can do, right? So these are the objectives for my topic. First one, be able to know the appropriate definition of mental health. Okay, I was told there are a lot of misconceptions about the definition. Differentiate common loosely used terms about mental health. Very important. The third one, learn practical ways in taking care of mental health. And I think some, or if not most of you, would want to really do this one. And I'm pretty sure, no, in the journey, in the long journey also of mental health topic, maybe it's as old as time, no, as a topic. Okay, but fun fact, and I think many of you knows this one already. It was only last 2012 psychology has been professionalized. No? So kinda young pa siya for that particular manner. And so it is understandable. A lot of us, a lot of people doesn't know exactly how to go through about it. Right? So to make it more siguro fun, no, on your end, I want you to really be engaged, no, in this topic, in this discussion, or sharing, topic sharing. I would want for you to take, or siguro ask the question first. This one. So how stressed are you? Okay. Maybe there's no single answer to this one, but you can keep it to yourself. No? How stressed are you? And in what way are you actually answering the question? And of course, since we are in an academic institution, we cannot be adherent to the concept lang of opinion-based answer. Although opinions can be powerful, but opinion-based answer when it comes to dealing with stress is so hard to actually understand, no? Because stress can be defined by anyone. It's actually one of the most commonly loose terms Gapon when it comes to the concept of psychology. So the question in itself is something you can answer personally, right? So how stressed are you? And as I made mention ganina, naata sa academic institution. We are in an academic institution, and so we shall answer this one in a more scholarly manner. No? So I intended for you to answer a scale. So the scale is called the DAS-21. So Depression, Anxiety, Stress Scale, version number 21. So in this scale, I would want for you to answer. Maybe you can get a notebook or like a piece of paper and a pen for you to write your responses. Don't worry, I'm not gonna be asking for your responses, so you can really keep it to yourself. Okay. Nana, by pen and paper. Right? So it's important to also note when taking personality test, no, or related nga mga test, there's really no right and wrong answers. Sometimes the misconceptions of people by taking personality test is that it's nice to fake it good. You know the concept of faking it good. And itong all responses should gear towards positive. No? And it's wrong. No, it's technically wrong for the reason nga you are not assessing yourself or you're not allowing yourself to be assessed in a more realistic manner. So just be truthful. This is just a short version, and I hope that this will help you assess yourself as well. Right? So is everyone ready? Can I see a thumbs up react sa chat box? All of you are ready. Okay. Thank you so much. Ay gipangita pa sa emoji. All right. So more than one is more than enough. No. So thank you so much for responding. All right. So this is the scale. All right. So you have here the instructions. Please read each statement and choose a number between 0, meaning does not apply to me at all. 1, applies to me to some degree. 2, applies to me to a considerable degree. Or 3, applies to me very much. Which indicates how much the statement applies to you over the past week. So again, it's important na indicator there over the past week. So there are no right or wrong answers. Do not spend too much time on any statement. So again, you don't need to overanalyze. Okay. Over the past week, assessing yourself, just answer to the truthful state na you had from last week. All right, are you ready? So these are the statements. So again, 0 is the lowest and then 3 as the highest. Siguro I will give you a minute to answer this one lang. No need to copy an answer. You can answer really directly. Right, I think 1 minute is up. So at this point, of course, you are excited to know the interpretation of your responses, right? But I will not give that to you yet. It's going to be something that you will look forward to. So you will need to stay for the rest of the lecture, right? I hope I did not frustrate you, but it's going to be something that I'm going to be giving to you by the end of the lecture, right? So pay your attention with the topic at hand, okay? And it's okay, no, sometimes to be frustrated. A certain amount of it is good. All right. So moving forward, let us first define what is mental health. Right? So again, as I made mention ganina, I feel like even the kids, no, high schoolers can actually define it in based on their opinions. No, and we would want to correct that as much as possible. And part of the reason as to why mental health came about is actually because it is a byproduct of studies. No, these are byproduct of studies, and it's something very important to share. No, it's really important to also share. No, so how is it defined? So mental health, or in Filipino, lusog isip. So there was a research about this in Psikolohiyang Filipino, comparing mental health and lusog isip. They found out na lusog isip has always been more positive, no, when it comes to taking on the concept. Okay, most often than not daw, mental health as a term is something again relate also, or something that usually is related to mental problems, no? And so lusog isip has been a good concept to use, no, when talking about mental health. So it is defined as, according to the American Psychological Association, no, a state of mind characterized by emotional well-being, good behavioral adjustment, relative freedom from anxiety and disabling symptoms, and a capacity to establish constructive relationships and cope with ordinary demands and stresses in life. So you see, from the definition itself, it's a positive definition. So we cannot just associate it with mental problem automatically. No, especially the topic in itself is actually very controversial pa, no, when it comes to accepting to people. Yeah, if you don't know, a lot of psychologists, okay, they're not that really kind of itong financially inclined for the reason nga a lot also of the Filipinos are adhering to the concept lang bitaw coming from kind of bitaw, I know you happen to do this one whenever a certain relative or a friend, a significant person in your life, no, gets to share a big problem, and usually we offer our advices, diba? And maybe you go through that. Sometimes you cry together. Sometimes you end up offering a huge amount of advices. You know, fun fact in psychology or in counseling in general, we don't offer advice. Okay, that's a no-no. No, that's a no-no in a way. Their experiences are not really the same with the thought that we are having, especially we weren't able to go through pa, no, with those experiences, and so it's really a no-no. That's why it's really important. It's not to make the mental health practitioners rich, but it's really about offering the appropriate help. You know, it's different when we are wanting to help, and it's also different knowing the appropriate way of helping. Although our intentions maybe kay para maat siya, sometimes um, it adds injury, no, especially if we're not actually trained or adept to the topic. No? So that one, right? So part of the things that I'm going to be also covering up is the concept of commonly loosely terms, no, used terms, no, in mental health practice. So first up, let's talk about stress. So what is stress? Well, maybe it's something all of you get to use every now and then. It's easy for us na ay stress na kay ko. Well, we inculcate in our heads na, you know, stress is there almost always and things like that. But then again, we are in an academic institution, and so we shall define it according to various resources. So the first definition we have coming from the lexicon or the dictionary. So how did they define stress? So stress daw, according to the dictionary, is a state of mental tension and worry caused by problems in your life. No? Something that causes strong feelings of worry or anxiety. Okay, so that's the dictionary. How about in the medical field? So in the medical field, they define it as a physical, mental, or emotional factor that causes bodily or mental tension. Okay. So if you happen to observe the first two definition, it's something somehow geared more towards the negative, no? Negative nga definition. So um, in a more psychological definition, we define it this way. Simple as our body's natural response to any demand. So meaning, in a psychological point of view, stress is normal. Okay, stress happens all the time. Okay, so it's really something that we live with. No, same sa concept of COVID-19. No, we cannot completely eliminate COVID in our lives. No, but the challenge is to live above it. No, so that's how psychologists would define stress. Now let's talk about the different types of stress. Maybe you know the first two, but the second two is something that can be an added value to you. So allow me to introduce eustress, okay, and de-stress. Maybe most of you knows the definition, but for those who doesn't know, allow me to share it. So eustress basically a short-term stress that encourages and motivates us. No, there are a lot of maybe most of you here are working students, no, and there are really things that we engage ourselves. No, we invest so much time and effort to make it to put it simply, siguro, like me, I really like playing basketball before, of course, pre-pandemic. No, and basketball as a sport is something that requires physical strain, but I so like it. No, or other sports that you are very much into, maybe badminton, volleyball, reading can be stressful, no, and on your end, which really requires a lot of readings, no. But if it's something that you enjoy, that is eustress. No? It energizes you. It gives you a good outlook about life. So that's eustress. These stress are harmful stress. No, a harmful stress where you feel you have no control over outcome. So there are a lot of examples of these stress. So these are things na beyond our control. Maybe a death of a loved ones, the pandemic. No, it's something many of us did not expect to happen, but it's currently happening, and a lot of people have been very much affected, no, because of this pandemic. So that's an example of this stress. Okay, so it's something negative to actually take in. And during the pandemic times, the UP School of Behavioral Science, they're able to share another two types of stress, no, during this pandemic. The third type you have here, the hypo stress. Now, maybe you know eustress and distress, but to many of you, hypo stress might be something that is new. So how is it defined? Hypo stress is defined as an underload stress wherein we feel bored or unchallenged. No, when you catch yourself being in a moment, realizing ba nga, I haven't been very productive. I haven't been productive in the day, no, especially during this pandemic. Nang you're just sleeping during daytime and then eat and then sleep again and the likes. No, maybe many of the law students here, kay sana all makatulog. But then again, there are moments, no, there are moments nga you get to catch yourself during this time. So that is hypo stress. And the fourth type, they get to introduce hyper stress. So hyper stress are overload stress, no, when tasks and events pile up. So it's also the opposite pole of hypo stress, no? And oh, sorry about that. Talking about hyper stress, these are moments nga we are caught off guard. If sa hypo stress kay wala kay tay gabuhaton, we're not pretty much doing a lot of things, no, Hyper stress is that we're actually doing overwhelming tasks also in our lives, right? So that's hyper stress. The next part, let's talk about anxiety. So another commonly loosely word is anxious, no? When we saying I'm really anxious, na ako'y anxiety, I have this anxiety and the likes. So let us siguro first define what is anxiety. So is it really something that you are part of the category or not? Okay. So what is anxiety? And to tell you siguro, um, anxiety problems can really be something of inclusion in the mental health, no, na field. Why? So let us look at the definition. Sorry. So you have here, so this is actually coming from APA and the DSM-5. DSM-5 is the Bible of the psychologist and psychiatrist. No, it's the guiding book. A lot of you here are psych majors, so you're familiar with this one. So I want you to laser focus on the recurring at least 2 weeks. So if it's something that is happening lang for a day, maybe because for a certain circumstance na you are not prepared to actually encounter. A good example, maybe you were able to encounter a snake, no, out of nowhere for a moment, and you became anxious and you get to feel the blood pressure changes in your physical responses and the likes. But for you to be categorized, it's important na it's recurring in at least 2 weeks. Okay, intrusive thoughts or concerns that may lead to a person to avoid certain situations because of worry, physical symptoms associated with this may be sweating, trembling, dizziness, or rapid heartbeat. So this is according to the American Psychological Association 2021. Okay, so moreover, in the DSM-5, no, they are able to distinguish how is anxiety different from fear. And most often than not, we have this misconception about the definition of the two. No, so they define fear as the emotional response to real or perceived imminent threat. Okay, whereas anxiety is the anticipation of future threat. Okay, so even if there is no actually stimulus, there is this very in recurring, no, recurring fear of anticipation. That's why people or people with anxiety disorders have this kind of state, no. But fear is something that we feel normally. No, we really, if I don't know if you don't have fear about anything in your life, it's a miracle that you're still alive, no, because we have this fear. Most of it, often than not, it leads us to a sound decision in our lives. But anxiety is not something that is normal. Okay, so it has to be something recurring. No? And in the DSM, it's actually very long. Also, I cannot discuss all of these types of anxiety. So you have separation anxiety, selective mutism, phobias. There are a lot of phobias. Social anxiety disorder, panic disorder, agoraphobia, GAD or general anxiety disorder, substance medication induced anxiety disorder, and many other non-specific disorder. No? So the next time you get to use the term anxious or anxiety, it's important na you get to go through the assessment process. Okay? So maybe you're just fearful but not necessarily having an anxiety disorder. But anxious is something that is acceptable. No, you get to kind of itang overwhelming, no, overwhelming than fear. compared to fear. Okay, so that is anxiety. The next term, also commonly used term, is depression. No? I get to hear a lot of people really use depression. They get to post it in social media. Depressed na kaayo ko, no? For the reason I get to be left by my boyfriend or girlfriend. That's big, no? A loss of a loved ones usually are associated with depression, and sometimes it's inappropriate. No, why is it inappropriate? Because depression is very serious. Maybe you are experiencing loss, no? You are sad, but if it's something going to happen for a month and you get to function afterward, you cannot categorize that one as depression. Okay, what is depression, Manday, with the things that I'm telling you? So depression is defined as a negative affective state, no, ranging from unhappiness and discontent to an extreme. Be mindful of the extreme, no, feelings of sadness, pessimism, and despondency. Another something that you should focus on, it interferes with the daily life, right? So meaning it's something occupationally, personally, socially, it disrupts you. No, it disrupts the uh, common maybe task that you get to do, no, every day, each and every day. So meaning again, there is extreme sadness. So how do we know if it's extreme? In the DSM, you get to also associate that one to a certain amount of time. So if you want to know if depressed ba ko or anxious ba ko or ang akong friend or my friend or your significant people in your life, it's important for them to really ask for professional help. Okay, so do not self-assess, especially if you get to feel this one. And I so like no the sharing of the Dean ganina. If it's hampering your life, if it's killing you, it's okay to give up. Okay, if you've exhausted enough effort, enough time, resources, and it's not something benefiting you already, it's okay to give up. You're not a loser. No, if you give up, you're not a loser. You need to remind yourself that one. Okay, so you also have here the types of depressive disorders. So you have a lot. So again, next time, remind yourself, this person is depressed. So which part? No, what specifically? No, but I don't encourage you to do that. It's something that I get to share. No, you cannot just automatically label someone as depressed, no, or someone having anxiety. That's a no-no. No, because sometimes the moment you get to give them labels, it becomes worse. No, if especially if it's not something that they can have an outlet about. Feelings by feelings needs an outlet. That's why as much as possible, we need that the professionals are really trained, no, to navigate these feelings as much as possible. Okay, so you have that one, right? So for a more visual na presentation, so you have here talking about mental health. We are already done talking about stress, depression, and anxiety, and of course they affect mental health. So it's important to note. Look at the arrow. It's important to note na am I just sad? If you say sad, meaning it's something that can be passive. Is this person sad for a certain because of a certain situation or circumstance? No, the death of a loved ones. It's normal to feel sad about that. Ba? Um, Maybe failing a certain major exam. No, it's okay. It's okay to be sad about that. No, and you cannot just automatically label it as I'm depressed. No, I'm having anxiety disorders and the likes, right? So there is a degree and there is a number of symptoms. Sometimes gani the number of symptoms may vary. Many disorders, it will include 5 to 3 to 6 symptoms before they can really identify nga it's really a disorder, no? And if you're not adept and maybe knowledgeable about it, as much as possible, avoid labeling them. Okay, because there are a lot of professionals who's willing and more trained to actually do that. And it's also important to note depressive disorders and anxiety disorders can be something that is comorbid. No, they can go together. They can coexist. No, maybe to a certain level, it was just irrational fear, and it develops into a depressive disorder. So they can be comorbid. But then again, it's not your task to actually assess or self-assess the people. Way back when I was a student, I get to do that, but I'm happy na my professors also catch myself na no, you cannot do that to yourself. Because again, to a certain degree, is it extreme or is it something you can still function on? Some things that you need to ask yourself also. Right? The next part, having to talk about stress, anxiety, and depression. No? Part of my task is to also share with you, no, and I'm happy to always share, no, the practical ways in taking care of mental health or self-care strategies. Okay. Before I go through all of the concepts, no, I want you to know, even if like you will not listen after this part, no, I want you to know there's no such thing as one size fit all when it comes to our mental health. Meaning, what works for you, do what works for you. You don't have to be like, maybe I'm gonna be suggesting like do some exercise, but you have a heart condition and then you get to feel bad nga, no, I cannot do so, meaning I have no hopes when it comes to my mental health. You cannot do that. No, do what works for you, do what works for you, and it's okay. Okay, so doesn't mean that it works to a certain icon that you really admire, and that it's not something that's gonna work for you. You'd feel bad, no? And it's something you can really be flexible about. No, you can just be flexible about these things, right? So the way I'm gonna be presenting it is that I want you to engage. I'm gonna be presenting pictures. I'm gonna be presenting pictures, and I want you to answer. Tap your answers sa chat box, no, as to your guesses. Right? So let us begin. What are the pictures? If you can just look at the picture. Type in your guesses sa chat box so I would know. What are your guesses? I'm seeing physical activities, physical exercise. Okay. No, it's pretty much obvious. It's actually exercise. No? And there are various studies, no, that the moment we exercise, from the word of Jim Quick, he made mention nga the moment our body moves, our mind also grooves. Meaning, we become more smarter, we become more intelligent daw when we exercise. And it's very, very important to actually exercise. Right? And fun fact, you can burn 104 more calories if you are not stressed. So as much as possible, find time each and every day to exercise. Right? It's very, very important to really exercise. No? Um, if you constantly tell yourself, I don't have time for that because I'm busy, the concept of being busy is actually a fallacy. But if we talk about being busy, if you are a busy person, meaning you have time for everything, no? Busy good ka, no? Meaning you have time for everything. It's another perspective to take on, to really take care of yourself, right? Find time to do that. Second, next, it's kind of obvious. It's actually sleep. No? And if you get to be enraged, nga, sir, we really lack sleep. By the way, a very average adult needs 7 to 8 hours a day of sleep. 7 to 9, I'm sorry, 7 to 9 hours a day of sleep. No? So if you're not doing this one, you are not an average adult. Joke lang. It's something that is lacking, no? That is lacking on your end. So as much as possible, it is important to do this one. And of course, maybe because many of you are working students and you don't necessarily find time, but I don't really adhere to that concept. Power naps are also good. No, power naps are also good. If you find yourself needing good rest, power naps are good, right? And don't wait, no, don't wait for you to catch yourself saying these words. Dear sleep, I'm sorry we broke up this morning. I want you back. Okay. And in many researches, if you lack sleep and then you study, it's as good as not learning anything also. No? So as much as possible, find time to really rest and sleep. Okay. The third one, okay, so type in your guesses. Okay. May I see your answers? Seeing affirmation from Aisha, motivation, confidence, positive outlook. All right. So it's actually related to these answers. Okay. So the answer to this one is minding your self-talk. Okay. So maybe you've heard positive self-talk, but most often than not, it's also something that we misinterpret. No, the excuse me, the concept of being too positive about something. There's a concept in mental health, the uh, toxic positivity. So if you're familiar with that, toxic positivity is that adhering to the concept that everything will be okay without doing anything, no, without changing your thoughts about something. Diba? If we have parent participants here, the moment you tell your child when they get to siguro that moment when you catch yourself, they are in a competition, no, they are in a competition, and then for some reason they did not win the competition, and in that particular instance you get to comment na it's okay, no? It's okay, I am not angry, I'm not mad. That can be a concept of toxic positivity, no, in a manner nga you did not process thoroughly the experience. So you are giving the concept somehow it's okay to compete and fail and end there, no, that's not good. So maybe a better way of talking is that it's okay that you fail. In what way do you think can you improve next time? Diba? So that's self-talk, like healthy self-talk, no? So it's not necessarily positive, but it's something that people can actually explore. And of course, since we're talking about yourself, it's very much applicable to you also. How you talk to yourself. In psychology or in health counseling in general, the most common reasons as to why people are maladaptive when it comes to their lives is because of rigid thinking. Okay, rigid thinking is a concept of being too too sure, not too finite, or to a certain level nga you get to be hard on yourself. Nabitang when we catch ourselves nga dapat I'm like this, dapat like that, no? You get to be harsh on yourself when you do that. No, that's rigid thinking. Dapat ako ang first, dapat top ko all the time. Diba? And when it actually develops, you get to be frustrated at the end of the day. Because again, there are many things in life that we cannot control. And so it's important to really catch ourselves in those moments. Right? And I leave to you a quote. Talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. Sometimes we offer so much effort for others and we forget ourselves. For a time, I was guilty about this one, and I need to really immerse myself in a more difficult na situation. So hopefully you get to do this one to yourself as well, right? It's difficult to give something, no, something that we don't have. It's important to have the concept of love tank, no? Puno ba ang atong love tank, no? For us to offer it to other people, right? So that one. Next. So look at the pictures. What are your guesses? Go, go, go. Interest, travel, unwind, leisure, stress reliever. Okay, thank you for participating. But the term that I'm looking for is leisure activities. Sometimes no, we get to forget, we tend to forget the concept of enjoying life. No? What's the point of living if you're not enjoying it? Diba? So it's okay to really revisit the things that you love doing. Maybe reading, traveling, of course, with appropriate documents. No, whatever hobbies that you left before law school, maybe, diba? Revisit that one. It can really help you. So in mental health, you cannot just saying, I want to do this, I want to do this. No, that can develop into again a rigid thinking. No, so the point of life is to really be meaningful about it, not really just enjoy, no, but to have a good sense of purpose and meaning. No? And I'm seeing sa group chat na affirmation is also good. Very much. It's very much powerful. No, affirmation is very, very much powerful. But then again, the formula lang yun is to really live a balanced life. If you catch yourself also constantly affirming, that becomes wrong. No? The moment a certain negative or wrong circumstance happens and then you affirm that becomes also very wrong. So again, a certain amount of balance would help. Right? I have here a quote that maybe you can also adhere to. Don't wake up one day and realize you spent so much time making a living that you forgot to live your life. By Alison Bristow. No? So maybe you have different goals and adherent to your life as to why you would want to become a lawyer, but never forget to also be happy. Okay? Be happy. Right? Next. Okay, paspasan na lang na ako ha. Okay, so this talks about social support. Among all else, social support is the most important. I can really say that. Social support is the most important. And why is that? Okay, there was this research from Harvard University. You can actually look at it on YouTube. No, if you want to confirm if I'm telling the truth. It's a longitudinal study. If I'm not mistaken, it lasted for 70 years na study. Longitudinal study. Okay, 70 years of research. meaning the respondents during this time are only 16 to 19 years old, no, and they've been the researchers in that school tracked these people until they became older, 90s ng age, 80s, and the likes. And the participants, if I'm not mistaken, around 600 to 700 participants. And you know, they get to ask, no, the researchers get to ask, in your long life journey, some of them actually are dead already, but they get to ask those people, of course, obviously, are still alive, what is the most important, no? What is the most important thing to be happy in life? And their answer are mind blowing, because mostly they answered good relationships. So meaning it's important to really invest good relationships with people. Okay? It's good to be independent, but then again, at the end of the day, we also need people. No? So you cannot just be adherent to the concept I can do this alone. You are lying to yourself when you do that. Okay? Because we need people. We need good people. Okay? It's really, really important to invest in good relationships. If you want to be happy, invest in good relationships. You know, friendship is a gift now. Diba, had it been, if we have the choice to choose, no, whom to be our parents, maybe you would want to have Brad Pitt as your father, Angelina Jolie as your mother, but that's not our choice. But the things that we can choose, or the people that we can choose, are our friends. And so it's important to also choose your friends. Choose your circle. Are they the people who will motivate you? Are they people who will inspire you to achieve something? It's really, really important. Okay? And as I say, when I is replaced by we, even illness becomes wellness. So we need people. Forgo of the thought that I can do this alone. I can just survive life alone and the likes. You know, that will not offer you happiness and joy in your life. Right? So a bonus na nga part. So I have here cognitive restructuring is a process in counseling that a lot of us mental health practitioners actually do. So the concept here is that as much as possible, catch yourself in moments nga you get to say the dysfunctional thought over functional thought. Okay, so regardless of an event, you have the capacity to actually control your thoughts. Okay, many times a lot of people I get to encounter, no, they adhere so much with their emotions. It's very important to also remind yourself, now we are bigger than our emotions. We are more than our feelings. No, we have the thought process that is very, very much powerful. Okay, so you have here an example of dysfunctional thought. Same event, but with dysfunctional thought. What's the point? I'll never lose weight. Consequence, reduced effort. How about if we do the functional thought? This is just temporary setback. I'll get there eventually if I stick with it. Consequence, increased or same effort. Uh, Meaning, the way we process our thoughts are very much important. So as much as possible, do not lose the concept of that our thoughts are very much powerful. And also, a few bonuses here. Something that you can work on sa inyong space, own space. You have Rain, talking about mental health, you have to recognize, no, a certain situation in your life, allow the experience to be there. No, if it's something that you cannot control, it's okay. And part of the secret of in life is that the adherent of the concept life comes in season. It's really seasonal. If you catch yourself maybe a few years back being in a very difficult situation, and now you looking back, you know you're able to surpass it because it is a season. Okay, investigate, and it's natural to be aware about these things. So, stop, no, mga acronym na lang na sila. Stop what you're doing, take a few deep breaths, observe, and proceed. You know the concept of yoga, to sum this one up? The concept of yoga is that not really eliminating problems, but acknowledging that there is a problem, but you can live above these problems. Okay, that's the concept of yoga. It's not really eliminating your problem. No, if you have financial problem, yoga cannot eliminate that one. No, but it's really about living above it. Yeah, last one, mindful. So meditate, very important. Interpret differently. It's important to know that your experience is unique. It's not the same with other person. Sometimes when we compare ourselves to others, we are insulting ourselves. Okay, so go through it, no, because it's something that is unique, and that's a blessing because we are unique. Okay, be non-judgmental. Sometimes it's easy to judge. If you want to be the bigger person, be non-judgmental. Try to always look at the facts and the likes. Sometimes if we have someone like we get to have an encounter with someone very much negative about something, no? It's okay to ask, why is this person angry at me? Why is this person so mad at me? So you ask yourself, is this my issue, or is this his or her issue? And it will help. No? Why is this person angry for some reason we don't understand? Is this my issue, or is this person having issues? No? And it will help a lot. Discover, very important. Learn new things and skills. Forgive, and you start by forgiving yourself. Sometimes we become so rigid and we forget, we are the ones, no, being harsh on ourselves. No? So please forgive. Urge surf is a concept of trying to explore our urges. No, ano ba itong, like for women, for example, it's important to explore the urges. No, I want to buy this one. I want to be angry. Sir, is it really possible to control that part? Yes, it's very much possible. No, it requires a certain amount of effort, but if you get to be engaged, no, more in that particular or concept, you get to be familiarized, and it becomes something that you're bigger than your urges. And very important, love and look after yourself more than anything. Again, we cannot offer what we don't have, right? So this part, na lang ba siya, no? You're excited with your results. I want you now to take out your notes, the ones I asked you, the DAS 21, and let us try to interpret your scores. Right? So how you do this one, I want you to sum up all your scores. Sum it up. Multiply it by 2. Okay? And if you're done, here are the interpretations. So if your scores, I will not ask because it's something that is private to you. If you're having a score 0 to 14, you have a normal level of stress. 15 to 18, mid-level of stress. 19 to 25, moderate. Then borderline, very important if you are having this one. Severe level of stress. And the last one, sorry, extreme level of stress. Okay, so if you fall sa kaning last two, no, it's important to reassess yourself, reevaluate yourself. Okay, what's the point of you becoming a lawyer and then you're having mental problems, no? So assess yourself as much as possible, right? And And I find this one very helpful. We're nearly ending. So instead of Netflix and marathons, take time to have sleep. Instead of doing fast food, nanatay time karon, homemade food. With toxic friends, find mentors. With television, exercise. In complaining, try to be grateful. Rather than blaming, be responsible. You will grow. Instead of overthinking, plan your action. And I wish to end this presentation with this one. We cannot always cure, but we can always care. So let us take care of ourselves and one another. Again, thank you so much for having me around. Thank you for staying. God bless you, everyone.
Thank you, Sir Earl, for such an informative session. So guys, how stressed are you? That's right. So self-assessment is one step towards self-care. I hope that everyone here, especially those who are non-psych grads, has now a clear understanding of what mental health is, debunk misconceptions, and be able to differentiate those common loosely terms about it, and of course, start doing something for yourself by applying those takeaways from Sir Earl on the practical ways to do so. Before we proceed to our next speaker, we will have an icebreaker. So I request everyone to participate because there may be prizes for this, maybe. So to give us the deets, let's call in our game master, Joshua Matthew.
Hello, good morning, everyone. It's me again. Um, can I share my screen?
Go, Matt.
Thank you. Okay, I would just like to ask if ever makita na ba ang screen?
Yes, Matt.
Makita. So hello everyone. Once again, good morning. I am Joshua Matthew Sanchez. And now I will be your game master for today. And so, kabalo naman siguro tatanan sa 4 picks, 1 word, no? As Gian mentioned, there may be prizes, maybe. So we will take notes sa mga mag-answer and maka-first guess sa correct answer. So basically, 4 picks, 1 word, since kabalo na matatanan, there will be 4 pictures na nag-incorporate sa isa ka word. So para mas kuan siya, para mas relatable siya, yung mga pictures, tapos yung answer is related to us as law students, tsaka sa mga subjects natin at most. And then right after is ang first na mag-answer sa chat box kay Moima winner. So there will be 8 levels. So we are expecting everyone to participate. And ang mag-participate kay mapasar sila ang isa ka bar subject. Ang dili mo participate, kabalo na mo sa inyong kapalaran. Joke lang. Pero it might be. So, di ba? Sige. Let's start. Okay ka na. Kuan saan ni?
Trial.
Trial. Sige. For a while. Sige. What is this? Okay, natay hint na letter T. So withdraw. Wait lang, anong siya na ATM? So makita na to kanang na ay mga underscores dira, so that would comprise kung pila ka letters. Like for example, for this one, naa may 8 kabuok underscores, so 8 siya ka letters. So ang answer is withdraw. So di ba? So, no, di ba, niingon ko nga relatable siya. So, if ever stress na sa isa ka subject, sa buhaton, magpadayon, dili mag-withdraw. Sige, next slide. Okay, next na ta, magsugod na ta.
And even if you are not a gentleman, the private.
So ang first is, ang una nakakuha kay si Miss Ayisa, ang patuwa. O, di ba? Siya ang una nakaguess, right? Sige, next. Next is this one. Okay. Okay, we have a correct answer. Okay. Okay, thank you guys sa mga nag-participate. Sure na nga mapasar inyong bar subject. Sa mga wala go-participate, kabalo na mas niyong kapalaran. Okay, napamoy time para mag-type. Okay, we have the winner, Asnawe Basher. Okay, congratulations. Uy, daghan ka na nga pas. Di gusto mabagsak. Sige, next. Okay, the correct answer is right. Okay, next is this one. Okay, natay clues. The second letter is letter I. Okay. Letter I ang first clue. Okay, Gab Esforzado, jojowain, warag wrong ang answer. Kay letter I man na to second letter. Okay, so na nakakuha timeline. Ang naka-answer is si Paladins. Paladins Sambulay or Ruth Joy, I think. Okay. So wrong si Mr. Gab Esforzado ng jojowain. Sige, next time, sir. Magkuhan ta. Basin masakto na imong answer, sir, na jojowain. Okay, next. Okay, this one. 8 letters. 8 letters. Tapos, ang clue is the fourth letter is letter A. Okay, we have a winner, si Apple Sagaral. The correct answer is relation. Sige. Next is kani. Ang dili mag-participate, kabalo na mo sa inyong kapalaran, ha? Sige. Okay, for this one, the clue is on the fourth letter, letter E. Okay, once again, it's Ayesa Ampatua who got the right answer. The correct answer is stressed. Okay, so I think na na storya ni kanina na topic. Okay, sige, next is, I think this is the third to the last one. Okay, the hint is on the second to the last letter. Okay, daghan kayo nag-answer, no? But the one who answered first, who answered correctly, is si Janica Cristina Aguilar. All right, sige, let's move on. I don't need to move on. Sige, let's move on. So, property of right answer. See, next is this one. 8 letters and then sa 6th letter ang clue. Okay, once again, ang naka-answer correctly na una nag-chat is si Asnawe Bashir. Okay, sana all. Sige, feel na ako last na ni. Okay, for our last one, this one. Okay, what is the correct answer? Okay, Christine Luzano got the correct answer. The correct answer is guilty. Okay, sige, pinaka-last na lang yun. Kay para makahabol o participate ang mga dili gusto, mabagsak sa bar subject, no? Sige, for the last one, okay, this one. Okay, 8 letters, tapos sa 5th letter, ang clue. Yeah. So letter E, ang 5th letter. Success ba ang answer? Achievement ba? 8 letters po. So 8 letters, tapos nasa 5th letter. Okay, we have the winner. It's Tolentino Natasha. The correct answer is achiever. So that's it for my game, Gian. Thank you everyone for participating.
Congratulations to the winners. And yes, the things we do for a passing grade. Mapush jud og participate, no? And now, let's get right into our second session. To introduce our second speaker, let us call in Joshua Matthew again. Josh.
Okay, for our second speaker, he is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Psychology at MSU IIT. He is an assistant lecturer at Psychology Department and at MSU IIT still. Currently studying Masters of Arts in Psychology, specializing in clinical psych at Xavier University Ateneo de Cagayan. He is the former president of Xavier University Psychology Graduate Program, a psychosocial responder at MSU IIT Psychosocial Response Team, currently the Vice Chairperson of Training and Development of Iligan Youth Mental Health Advocate. He is invited as speaker with the topic Stress and Anxiety Management in Rotaract Iligan District, and the topic Stress and Burnout Management in the Workplace at Moresco 1. Without further ado, help me welcome Mr. Raven Diamante.
So, hello, good morning, everyone. Yan, Matt, am I audible? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
Raven.
Yes,
Yeah.
madunggan.
Okay, hi. Hello, good morning. So, thank you for that introduction, Matt, no? Before anything else, in behalf of the Iligan Youth Mental Health Advocates, I would like to extend my gratitude to the Sarimanok Virtual Law Clinic of the MSU College of Law and Iligan Youth, or IMHA, for having me here as a speaker for this amazing webinar about mental health. I hope that I will be able to impart knowledge, no, about the topic that I will be discussing this morning. Okay, so without further ado, let me share my screen for in a while. Wait. Um, okay. So can you Can you see the my screen?
Yes, Raven.
Okay, sige. Thank you. Okay, so I am tasked to talk about burnout, no? So keep your fire burning, understanding and managing burnout. So the current COVID-19 pandemic has brought about drastic changes in our day-to-day lives, right? I might be talking about burnout, and maybe most of you here have knowledge about burnout as a kind of a reaction or body's reaction due to occupational context. But for my talk this morning, I will be trying to apply this in the academe, specifically as a student, no? Because students, according to research, are also victims of burnout. Okay, so what are the objectives? Okay, for today, we will be defining and explaining the nature of burnout, and we should be also able to explain the indicators of burnout and how to spot if you are experiencing it. And lastly, I will be giving some tips to overcome burnout and maybe some tips also to prevent experiencing burnout. Okay? So before anything else, burnout, no? I don't know if some of you here have already heard the term, right? Burnout. So it's like poetic in a sense that we will be trying to make an analogy of it with fire. Have you ever heard about the quote na if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life? So is that familiar with some of you here? Okay. Um, yeah, I hope at least you've heard about a thing like about that quote, no? Or maybe sometime in your life, because we are talking about metaphorically about the fire within us kasi, right? The fire here is basically our passion, no? The fire here is our passion, it is our motivation to do the things that we love, okay? It has always been, kumbaga, especially to those people who have this occupation, that you really have to find the thing that you are passionate about in order for you to work efficiently. Okay. But the thing here is that there's a problem with that quote kasi there's a problem with that saying, because the tendency here is that we often equate kasi doing what we love into something that uh, when we equate something that we love into something na dili na gyud nato trabahoon, or we should not really exert an effort in it, it gives us the belief that we should work more for it. Okay? And in this case, that fire itself will engulf us, or basically will eat us in a sense. Now that is basically what happens when we are experiencing burnout. Okay, most people experience burnout not just because of the things that they do and they do not like what they do, but it is also applicable to those people who does the things that they would love to do. Okay. So with regards to the Menti code, let's ano lang sa later lang sa with the Menti code. I will be giving instructions lang dahil later. Okay? So kato siya. So that's basically about burnout, no? The fire within us, the passion within us is sometimes the cause for our kumbaga problems na di ay. So it's not really always all the time applicable to say that what we love will make us feel or will make us be efficient all of the time. Okay? Now what is burnout pala? So according to the 11th revision of the ICD-11, or the International Classification of Diseases, burnout was defined as a syndrome conceptualized that results from current work stress that has not been managed successfully. It usually refers specifically to a phenomenon associated in the occupational context. Now, most of the definition of the burnout is basing on people who are working, okay, or na occupational work. To be specific, burnout has been mostly studied specifically in the medical profession. Okay, people who are frontliners, specifically during COVID-19, many research have already been conducted with regards to burnout experienced by people in the front lines, or by medical practitioners in the front line. Okay, it has always been like that. Um, Talking about the definition, burnout is considered to be as a syndrome and not yet a disorder or even a disease. Okay, meaning to say, burnout is recognized. However, it is not still considered to be as an official and a formal na disorder. That is one of the things that you must remember. Experiencing burnout doesn't mean that you have an illness already. Those are just groups of symptoms indicating a reaction of your body. You might be wondering what's the difference between experiencing burnout and stress itself, right? So because we have here current work stress, right? Current work stress. So how does it differ from how does a person experiencing stress differ from a person who is burnt out? Okay, first and foremost, burnout is a reaction to extreme stress, which was not managed successfully. That's one. Another one is when we talk about stress, kasi it's like you are drowned with many responsibilities. Okay, you are drowned with many responsibilities. Thus, you are trying to be engaged more in order to take control of those responsibilities for you not to become stressed anymore. Burnout is a different thing kasi burnout is more specific about a certain context, okay? In this definition, occupational, okay? Later on, let us apply this in the academic sense or in the academic na context. And if in burnout, you are trying to delve more or you are trying to engage yourself more into taking into account or taking control of responsibilities. Burnout kasi is more like you are disengaged. Okay? You disengage yourself. It's like you are dried up with the responsibilities. You are fed up with the responsibilities to the point that you just want to walk away, try to avoid everything, try to not make kumbaga concentrate. You do not concentrate anymore about those things or areas that you need concentrating. So that's one of the most common difference between stress and burnout. And sometimes people easily detects that they are under stress. Okay, I am already stressed because of this, because of that. However, due to the nature of burnout, not all people notices that they are already experiencing burnout. Okay, so basically in an occupational context, that is burnout. Now, um, here are the following symptoms to kumbaga watch out. No, these are the three most common, and this has been recognized by the ICD-11. Before anything else, ICD-11 or the International Classification of Diseases 11th Division, 11th edition is not yet released. No, January 2022, if I'm not mistaken, pa na siya ma-release. But they are already, it is kumbaga a manual. Okay, ICD-11 is like a manual that catalogs human diseases, medical disorders, mental health disorders. Kumbaga, they catalog everything, every formal diseases that has been recognized for coding purposes. Okay, burnout is still burnout is recognized but not yet a part of but not yet a part of a formal yun nga disorder. Okay, so here are the three most common symptoms now of burnout. So we have feelings of energy depletion or energy or exhaustion due to the fact that they have been bombarded with many things at once. So basically, they have exhausted all their energy to doing those tasks. Okay. Next we have is increased mental distance or feelings of negativism or cynicism related to one's job. You now have negative outlook on the job that you are currently doing. So basically you are thinking that is it really the right job? Is this really the right thing to do? Okay, it's like you are having not just negative outlook towards the job, but even to other people you are working with pod. Okay. And lastly, reduce professional efficacy. Your professional kumbaga your professional efficacy or your performance in a sense in your job will also be affected. Okay, you will become yeah, there's a tendency that you will be procrastinating, thus you will be having late submissions. Okay, you will turn out to be tardy and any other negative things that will result into your professional performance. Okay, so those are basically the things that a person experiencing burnout in a workplace experiences. Okay, now if burnout in a occupational context is real, can we also apply this in the academe? Okay, of course, no. Before that, because of those symptoms pala, I forgot about this. Because of those symptoms experience na ma-experience sa people, they will also react in different ways. But most of the common reactions that people who experience burnout are these things, right? So they become sick. Okay, sometimes they become sick. They cannot concentrate with their jobs. They lost motivation or they lose motivation with their job. They are often tired. They are often mostly all of the time tired. They are jaded, and sometimes they cannot even sleep. For people who have experienced burnout brings the burden from their job or from their workplace into their homes, thus having these kinds of reaction. Especially nowadays that some people, I don't know if you are if some of the students or participants here are also working, kumbaga students, and at the same time working in a specific field. There's already the line between work, kasi the line between work and being a part of a home has been thinned. Okay, is already thinning, no, kumbaga. It's like there's no boundary anymore of you as a father, a mother, as a son, as a daughter, to that of being someone in the workplace. For you are already bringing your burden, or you are already bringing your job in your houses or in your homes. Now, because of that, many things will possibly happen, no. You will become much more irritated, mas dali ra ka ma-irritable. Okay, um you are also, kumbaga, trying to sleep but you cannot because of the things nga inyong ginahuna with the job related and many other things as well. Okay, and you must look out for that as well, no. However, applying this in the academe, okay, applying this in the students' POV or point of view, the students, can we apply this burnout also in the academe? When in fact, most of the researches are all on the occupational context. Yes, of course. In fact, according to Who and colleagues in 2009, students' studies encompasses structured and often coercive activities which can also be considered as work or occupation. Okay, many professors have given tasks, right? I myself am a educator, so I myself am also an kumbaga, a witness of this, right? I give tasks to my students, I give them assignments, even during classes, I also give them some things to do. Okay, sometimes they are structured and even they have to exert more effort than usual, pajud, since because some of us might be thinking that this is a pandemic so they can do more about it since naman bitaw sila sa balay and all of those things. Now those way of thinking, that mentality is considered to be as giving work to the students. Thus, students are also prone to burnout. Okay. Now, um, academic burnout is defined by Schofelli et al. In 2012 as the feelings of exhaustion due to high academic requirements and demands, which makes learners develop negative attitudes and pessimistic feelings about assignments. And not just assignments, no, and not just only assignments, it has to do with the academic related activities in general. Okay, because of the intense because of the intense work that most students have to do due to the fact that we are experiencing a pandemic, they might develop exhaustion and negative attitudes towards their work as or towards themselves as a student, thus resulting into them experiencing burnout. Okay. So what are some of the symptoms of academic burnout? It is somewhat like the same lang siya, no? It is somewhat the same with occupational burnout, but it is on the academic context. Emotional and physical exhaustion. Okay, emotional and physical exhaustion are one of the most common symptoms of academic burnout. Okay, students will be experiencing anxiety, some depressive symptoms, stress, and because of that, physical exhaustion will also be there. They experiences illness, magka-fever, magluya ang lawas, and most of those things. And sometimes, some research would say that physical exhaustion or physical symptoms are psychosomatic in nature, meaning to say, they are there because of psychological factors. Okay, they experience physiological changes because of psychological factors. Now that is what we call a psychosomatic. Okay, next is cynicism. Okay, again, negative attitude about what they are doing. Okay, is this correct? Am I even doing this correct? Am I even taking the correct? Am I even be in the correct path? Okay, so those are cynicisms. And third, academic inefficacy. Because of this, their outputs will be affected as well. Okay, they become same thing. They become tardy. Okay, their work is if we have standards, no, lower standards ang ilang work, because their performance as a students become affected as well due to the fact that they have experienced burnout lagi. Okay, so according to the research conducted by Winona State University, there is said to be five different stages of burnout. Okay. First, we have is the honeymoon stage, then the balancing act, then the chronic symptoms, and then the crisis stage, and lastly, enmeshment. Okay. Now, when we talk about the honeymoon stage, kasi, the honeymoon stage is where we are full of energy pa. Okay, right? We are full of energy, we are burning with passion, we are very much energetic because it is our first time experiencing the things that we like to do. For an instance, we really want kumbaga to enroll ourselves into law school. Okay, we are very eager to learn something about laws. We are very eager to become a lawyer in the future, an attorney in the future. The honeymoon stage here is you are like brimming with energy. Okay, so dara tanan, dara tanan, lahat ng energy mo, you are bringing it out in this stage, honeymoon stage. Now, the thing in this honeymoon stage is that it is very, very helpful, no? It is very, very helpful and it is very, very okay. Okay? But you also have to be able to know during honeymoon stage. Okay? You have to be able to know during honeymoon stage that if you're experiencing this kind of emotions, you also have to be able to know what will what will you feel if ever you will be experiencing negative emotions as well. Okay. Now, many people during the honeymoon stage will be able to do that. However, some might not. Okay. Now, moving on to the balancing act. Now, you are still happy with the things that you do. You are still very eager to learn. However, you are now already experiencing minor symptoms. Okay. You are now feeling tired. You are now feeling disrupted by your other things. You are now feeling demotivated, slightly demotivated. So basically, you are now starting to develop symptoms of burnout. Third one is chronic symptoms. Now, this is where it gets serious. Okay, chronic symptoms stage is somewhat the same with balancing act, but the symptoms in the chronic stage is more heightened. Okay, compared to the balancing act. So it is much more intense compared to the balancing act, to the point that you will be doing things that you think or that you thought is helpful. Okay. Next we have is the crisis stage. Now the crisis stage again is a leveled up na stage compared to the chronic symptoms. Okay. However, this time this engagement is very much evident in the crisis stage already. Okay. And lastly, enmeshment. In enmeshment stage, burnout or those experiences have already been embedded within you to the point that you are being left out already or that you are already experiencing severe symptoms already. Okay, so as much as possible, do not let your symptoms go to chronic symptoms already. At the very start of the honeymoon stage, you really have to know, or you really have to prepare yourself with the future drawbacks with what you are feeling. Okay, so yeah, that's the 5 stages of burnout. And what causes burnout pala? According to a study by Boudreau and his colleagues in 2004, academic burnout can be assessed with the following stressors. Okay, one, work overload. Okay, so there might be many things to do at once. So that's one of the causes of burnout. And maybe some of you here have also other works to do. Some of you here might be working at a different job as well. So you are a working student, so that could also be a cause of burnout. Next is concern about academic grades. This is already given, no? As students, we are always taught not to go for mediocrity but rather for excellence, right? So concerning about our academic grades could pressure us in a way that it could be also harmful if not if not taken into consideration seriously. Okay. Next we have is uncertainty about the future. Will we be able to finish this course? Will I be able to become an attorney in the future? What if not? Unsa man akong himuon? What will I do in the future? Okay. Low levels of control. Okay, this is something that most of us have experienced, but we are not yet quite familiar with, or we are not yet quite aware with it. Okay, time in itself is uncontrollable, but what you can do with that certain time is your responsibility. Okay, you might be thinking that time is running so fast. Okay, the time is going on so fast, so you might be trying to compensate with saying na paspas kayong oras, I cannot do these things because of this time frame. It's not because of the time, but it is because of your control of the things that you do within that time. Okay. Next, we have is less satisfaction with the balance between personal and professional life. So this has always been true, especially now during the pandemic, that the boundary between work related and job related na circumstances is already thinning. Okay, specifically in this situation, we are students most of the time are already doing their um studying in their homes. So in their homes, they are not just daughters, they are not just the son, they are not just mother, they are not just the father of the home, but they are also a student in their homes as well. And that may cause role confusion. Who am I really in this house? Am I a student or am I katosha? Okay. So that will bring less satisfaction with the balance between personal and even professional life. Low levels of support from peers and friends. Due to the fact that we are in a pandemic, we cannot really gather every time, no? It's quite different when we see our peers and friends in person, in the flesh, rather than having them rather than having a communication virtually. Okay, so low levels of support from peers and friends, thus creating this disengagement with the society could basically cause also burnout. And lastly, negating other areas of your life because you are much more focused on your studies. You are basically doing everything just for the sake of hoping or kana bitang finishing what you need to finish on your studies. You are now neglecting other areas of your life. You are now forgetting that you have friends. You are now forgetting about your own physical welfare, your mental well-being, because you're focusing that I must finish this, I must be able to have a good academic grade, so you now forget about other things as well. So neglecting other areas of your life could also be one of the causes of burnout. Okay. And how to tell, Kenny? How to tell now if you are experiencing burnout? Okay. Now, in experiencing burnout kasi, that's why I forgot to tell you this. That's why it is not yet considered to be as a formal na medical condition because of how overlapping the co-varying symptoms are to the already known na mga medical conditions such as anxiety, depression, and even other stress-related disorders. Okay, for example, lack of motivation. Okay, this is kumbaga a symptom of a person experiencing depressive disorder, experiencing depressive symptoms, right? Okay. So, but how to tell when a person is experiencing burnout? First is feeling exhausted. You are feeling exhausted. You are feeling tired most of the time. You are feeling drained because of the fact that you are giving it your all sa imuhang job or sa imuhang task in a sense. You are feeling exhausted because you are kumbaga um using every bit of your energy to the fact that you must finish this certain task. Okay. Next is lack of motivation. Okay. Because of this exhaustion, you now feel demotivated. Okay. You now feel demotivated because of the fact that you are drowning with the responsibilities as a student. Okay. Third, increased irritability due to frustration. Okay, sometimes you lash out with the people within your homes, right? So, for example, after a test, you feel like you did not do well. You feel like, or basically after an oral exam, you are told na, you are told na you did poor, something something, ana. And then your irritability will be increased, and then you lash this out to the people with the people around you, right? Kasi matingala ka, masuko na kagkalit sa imong manghod, masuko lang kagkalit sa imong magpapa. You don't want to talk with other people because you are very much frustrated with what happened. Okay, your irritability and your frustration, you are very much vulnerable during this time, much more vulnerable. Okay, next we have is loss of confidence in academic related abilities. So you feel like you are a failure, you now experience a self-doubt, you feel helpless, you just want to detach with other people for the sake of maybe thinking that you are at a loss, no? Your satisfaction from if you compare the satisfaction that you receive in the very first part of um the very first day nga ning join ka as a student, it's like there's a very taas nga discrepancy. The satisfaction has been decreased. Okay, so basically that's what we talk about loss of confidence. Physical symptoms, okay, that's what I've said earlier, psychosomatic symptoms, no? You feel ill, you feel like you are having a very bugat nga lawas, headaches, sometimes you feel feverish, kasukaon. Okay, those are psychosomatic symptoms as well. Increased in bad habits. Okay, increase in bad habits in a sense that we think of it as a coping strat. Okay, to the point that we are always using this na as a coping strategy, such as magyar. Okay, drinking. Okay, sometimes over procrastination or specifically watching Netflix bitaw is a form of procrastination. Whenever we don't want to do some things, we want to avoid doing things, so we tend to do other things such as watching Netflix and chill. Okay, so that is a bad habit as what um Mr. Earl said earlier, no? Decrease Netflix watching or yan, install na lang ninyo yung Netflix, guys. Okay? 7 is inability to concentrate. And 8, feelings of anxiety and depression. Okay, so these are just some of the symptoms that you might experience when you are already having burnout, However, I would like to emphasize that these symptoms are not really applicable to everybody. Meaning to say, not everyone could possibly experience these symptoms. These are just, kumbaga, signs to pinpoint for the possibility that you might be experiencing burnout. Okay. And last, Okay, I'm almost done. Dali ako, no? So, what can you do about it? Okay, so these are kumbaga some tips to prevent and some tips on how to overcome burnout. First is set reasonable goals. Okay, set reasonable in creating boundaries ng section, you must set reasonable goals. Okay, the goals that you set is quite important because having that goal will give you different objectives on how to achieve that certain type of goal. And by having different objectives, you can manage your time properly naman dayon. Okay? You just have to be realistic about the goal that you are setting. Okay? You cannot just bombard, like for example, uh you will be having an exam, or you are bombarded with exam on the same day, so you will also be studying on a specific day as well. Instead of doing that, you have to set goals, like for example, during this time frame I will study for this subject. Okay, and for this time frame another subject, and for this time frame another subject. In that way you will be able to manage your time properly, thus having also be able also to achieve a certain goal. Okay, next is take a step back. Okay, when you feel like it's been overwhelming already, it's been very much overwhelming, it's not bad man to stop what you do. Okay, so just take a step back, relax, breathe, and then continue when you are ready to do the things that I yun. Okay, work and life balance. Okay, this has always been a thing that I've been saying earlier pag yun, no? Protect one's personal time. This is very much important. When you are done with everything that you do, you have to protect your personal time. You have to give time for yourself. Okay, and get better at time management. There are many things that you can do for you to be able to be good at time management. No, you write all of your possible you write all of the things that you must do within the day, and then set out specific time for you to be able to accomplish that specific job or specific task. Okay, next is reframe your thoughts. Okay, this is somewhat the same with cognitive restructuring with Mr. Earl earlier. So try to change negative thoughts from positive ones. For instance, I still have so much work to do. Instead of saying that, you can say that I have done more than enough for the day. Okay. Next is be reminded of your why. Right? We always have a why, or the reason as to why we joined this in the first place. Be reminded of the reason as to why you are here in the first place. What was it that motivated you in the first place pala to be a student, to be a law student, no? Find value and meaning on what you are doing, right? As what Viktor Frankl said, no, even in times of suffering we could always find meaning. And sometimes people who can find meaning in suffering are much more stronger compared to other people. Okay, so find value and meaning in what you are doing. Okay, focus on things that we have control over. Okay, kanilang yun siya. We have the tendency kasi to control everything. And basically, when we have this tendency to control everything, if we cannot control this certain something, then we will be having frustrations na. Okay? Focus muna on the things that we can control about. Okay? And lastly, understand the nature of your stress. Knowing what you are stressed about is a very powerful tool for you to handle it. Okay, knowing what makes you jaded, or what makes you tired, knowing what makes you angry, knowing what makes you anxious is always a good tool for you to combat, no, what you are feeling. Okay. Reach out to others. Surround yourself with positive and meaningful people, and seek company from your trusted colleagues and loved ones. Okay, so you have your family, you have your friends. It's okay to connect with them from time to time and ask for updates for them. Okay, and lastly, practice self care. Do your hobbies. Now, if your hobbies are restricted because of the COVID-19 pandemic, try to search for other things that you can do. No, spend time with your loved ones. Okay, exercise, take regular breaks, or you can do the 20-20-20 technique. And something 20-20-20 technique. I've read about this wherein especially if you are in a class, in a study, asynchronous classes, every 20 minutes, you look 20 yards or 20 yards away for 20 seconds into something. Okay, for example, after 20 minutes, I have to look for my alcohol na 20 yards away from me for 20 seconds. In this way, you will be exercising your eyes, and at the same time, you will be, kumbaga, massaging your mind not to be overloaded with information. Okay? And don't forget to eat the right kind of food. Okay? So, kind of right kind of food, no? So, I'm not saying that you have to eat fast food always, kanang mga chips and unhealthy foods. Okay, and lastly, get enough and quality sleep. This is quite important because we are always thinking that for us to have enough and quality sleep, we have to sleep 8 hours or more. No, getting enough and quality sleep does not equate to having longer hours of sleep. Okay, you can have quality sleep for 4 hours. You can have quality sleep even for mga 3 hours lang. Okay, what you can do about quality sleep is that you have to have a peace of mind. You have to clear everything out. You have to clear your thoughts about everything that has been affecting you. In that sense, you'll be getting quality sleep. Okay, this is what I'm doing actually. I would want to share lang my practice, no. Whenever I am bombarded with jobs or tasks, no, that I must finish within a certain time frame, or ana siya, if I feel that it is already overwhelming for me, I take a step back and then I sleep. Okay, whenever I sleep, I really do not think about that. I really do not think about the jobs or the tasks that I will do. I just have to sleep. Kumbaga, I need to recuperate my energy, or I need to tawag ano get energy from sleeping. Through that, I cannot do my job, or I cannot do the tasks that I am tasked to do. Okay. So yeah, experiencing burnout doesn't make you a weak person, mind you guys. Okay, it is, kumbaga, if it is something that is inevitable, especially now that we are experiencing COVID-19 pandemic, and it has brought about different changes within us that makes us adapt to this current situation. No, you just have to take the wheel once more. Let your problems be the fuel to your ride to a better future. Okay, and I will end my discussion with a quote by Charlie Chaplin: "Nothing is permanent in this wicked world, not even our troubles." And I hope you learn or get something from it. Thank you guys for listening and have a good day. Wala na ako nakamenti guys, but yeah, it's okay. Thank you. I hope that is enough.
Thank you, Sir Raven. Such an informative session as well. Being in law school means having to meet high academic requirements and demands, which definitely makes us vulnerable to burnout. And with that, it's great to start taking small steps in a healthy way until we get to manage ourselves well. Thank you again, Sir Raven. And now, to give us a snippet of what Sarimanok Law Virtual Clinic is, here's a video presentation.
The MSU Online Law Clinic was established as a virtual platform for innovative projects to advance the legal literacy and access to justice of common individuals and the marginalized community through empowering legal and civic knowledge, skills, and confidence.
As part of its program, the Online Law Clinic provides free online legal assistance to marginalized clients and conduct extensive legal literacy campaign for the benefit of the common people in the community. It envisions a society of empowered people, vigilant of their rights, and committed to uphold the rule of law. It serves as a platform for experiential learning and meaningful study of law. The members of the organization are supervised by dedicated lawyers as they engage communities and other stakeholders through a number of outreach activities such as online lectures and webinars designed to help people learn and understand laws, legal procedure, and their rights. Before the pandemic, The clinic, initiated by the Iligan Extension Legal Aid Clinic, or ILAC, conducted several campaigns, lectures, and visitations to help in disseminating the law and jurisprudence, and also offered legal assistance to those who have lesser access to justice. Not only that, the members became active in participating in planting and cleanup drives and live up to their names as stewards of the environment. During the rise of pandemic, the Legal Aid Clinic initiated an online platform to reach out to the people in need of legal assistance, creating the MSU Online Law Clinic Facebook page. It does not stop there. We further continue to learn with the Humanitarian Legal Assistance Foundation, or HLAF, in the Paralegal Training webinar. Later on, this gave rise to the Sarimanok Virtual Law Clinic in partnership with the Asia Foundation as a platform that offers free online legal services to the community. This is run by law student practitioners of MSU College of Law Iligan Extension Legal Aid Clinic, with their supervising lawyers, permitted to engage in the limited practice of law pursuant to the Revised Law Student Practice Rule, or Rule 138-A. From books to action, the Law Clinic continues to equip the students with the practical knowledge and necessary skills that would help them become effective agents of social justice through innovative experiential learning.
I hope that video sparked the interest in everyone to have that experiential learning. I believe that the SVLC is recruiting for more members, and details will be provided later by the president, Ms. Audrey Kwan. And now, to call in our keynote speaker, let's call first President Matt Sanchez to introduce him. Matt. But before that, let's have a temperature check. So if there are freshman people here, freshman students, can you please give me a heart react? Are you still there? Oh, I think the freshman is dominating this webinar. Very participative. How about the sophomores? Are you here? If so, send me a like react. Are there any sophomores here? I see that there are some. How about batch dominatus, the third year? Give me a heart react, guys. Wow. Participative dyan ako mga batchmates. How about the fourth year, the batch Versilius? Are they here? Send a heart react if so. I see there are batch Versilius here, but they're not giving me a react. Why is that? And finally, how about the fifth year? Fifth year or nabisi na og koan review? Okay, so I think that's it. May we ask the tech team if the speaker is ready, the keynote speaker is ready? Or shall we proceed to the open forum first? Okay, so there are lots of questions that came in, but due to time constraints, we are going to raise just few. But rest assured that those other questions will be addressed in your respective group chats. So let's start asking Sir Earl. So there are two questions for him. Okay. So for the first question, How do you react when you notice a mental health issue with a person you care about or a classmate? Sir Earl?
Hello again. um, can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible, sir.
All right, good. So to answer the question, no, of course, if it's actually very much realistic, is this person asking for your help? No, if not, maybe it's it's like a foot in the door process, no. Little by little, you get to immerse. Sometimes mga people will tend to maybe assess nga why are you wanting to extend. I'm not asking for it, no. But if you are in that situation already, very important first is to assess yourself. No? It's very much important to assess yourself as to the extent of the help that you can actually offer. Sometimes it's really a no-no when we automatically have responses, no, for people that we care about. Sometimes it it offers more problem, no. Initially we're capable of accepting, hearing the person out, and then later on there we cannot take the depth of the circumstance. So as much as possible, assess yourself first. No, am I the right person to talk? No, am I in my best state to offer something? Is this something not my issue? No, sometimes like a very like easy lang na example lang siguro like about love life, for example. No, for instance about love life, and then you get to offer a good amount of advice, and then knowing yourself, you know it's something that you are not good at, so it complicates everything. So self-assessment is important, and the rest can really follow.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering that. And to our second question, I know I have anxiety disorder and I've had countless attacks. So far, kaya ko pa naman i-manage. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being worst, mga nasa 4 siya. I'm not clinically diagnosed nga lang because I am scared that if I will be, then my life will evolve around that diagnosis. Ayaw ko lang na mag-take up siya ng space sa life ko. I hate to be the center of attention, kaya takot ako magsabi sa parents ko minsan because baka patigilin nila ako from law school. What can I do?
Okay, that's really up, no, as a concern, and I would want to acknowledge the strength na you get to still adhere, no, na you are experiencing this one. That's very beautiful of you. And sa part nga you wouldn't want to be diagnosed in that particular aspect, maybe give it a chance if you can. Sometimes maybe you are just limiting sa concept of the unknown. Sometimes we become um, limited because of that, because of the thought like these people cannot help, the people will not support me, and these are examples of rigid thinking as well. Give a chance, as much as possible. Try to initiate open communication with the people you trust. If not siguro your immediate family members, if you have a trusted friend. But then again, you need to be careful also, because again, it might be something they'd offer, as I made mention kanina. The offering is that they want to really help, but then again, the appropriate amount of help. But then again, please take really give them a chance, give the professional a chance to explore it with you. And it's good nga you get to have a scale pa of 4 out of 10. But then again, very very important to explore that with these people. Okay, and it's always better to explore it karon, no, compared sa mag-complicate, mag-escalate siya later on, and we wouldn't want to have that one, diba? So kana siya. Give it a chance as much as possible. Trust these people, and if I'm not mistaken, wala pa manigipatay nga mga tao, no, because of that particular journey, to point out the extremes, no. So that one, I hope I answered the question.
Thank you, Sir Earl. I know that I mentioned that I will only raise two questions for you, but here's the last question for you. The remote learning setup is quite a challenge for me, but I don't find it extremely difficult to adapt. However, there are some people whom I know are struggling with it. How should we, in general, adjust to this change?
All right. That's really true, no? Especially also sa aqua, like sa among part mga professors. That's also a concern. For to a certain extent, there are moments nga I also catch myself, no, clamoring to this concept. But it's also important to identify the priorities, no, that we get to have. And there are things nga we can do, we can try to do in the virtual setup, rather than, or like it's about putting the weight back. Is this online class, mm, like admitting myself to the online class more important ba than delaying whatever it is that you want in your life? So it's still about perspective taking, no, and it has been the most realistic so far a venue for us to really still continue living, no, living life. Although I know each and every one of us has a lot of concerns, questions, clamors about this setup, but then again, it's really living above that. It's about living about the complaints that we are having in our lives and trying to really live above the concern. That's really the challenge of these changing times, and that's the reality, no. Change has always been constant. Change can be something that is difficult, but then again, it's something that is possible to really go through with, no. So kana siya.
Thank you so much, Sir Earl. And to address questions to Sir Raven as well, here's the first question. How do I deal with pressure from school and work? Feel ko kasi nagli-lead siya ng burnout po.
Okay, thank you for that question, no. Hello, I hope dili ninyo madunggan ang karaoke sa amo. My gosh, so somebody is having karaoke na I don't know why, but yeah. Anyway, thank you for that question, no. First and foremost, I would like to um not really congratulate but commend the person asking for being able to acknowledge already that maybe he or she will be experiencing burnout soon. That is already a powerful tool, no. By that, you can do now some things in order to prevent into experiencing full blown burnout. Now, in terms of your question, siguro pressure is always there, man, right? Pressure is always there. Pressure in academic and even in our work jobs is always there. The thing that I can say here is that um, there is this thing kasi in psychology where we call as cognitive appraisal. Okay? In psychology, we have this cognitive appraisal wherein it states that we have different perceptions of different instances. So in this case, whenever we see pressure or whenever you see pressure as more of a hindrance, then basically you will also be experiencing negative emotions. But rather, if you see this pressure as more of a challenge rather than some kind of difficulty that you are experiencing, then there's a possibility that you will be able to do siguro things in order for you to conquer that pressure as well. So I guess it's really a matter of using no pressure as more of a fuel to basically be able to go with your difficulties now rather than be affected by the pressure that you are experiencing and just kanang be passive about the things that will eventually lead to burnout. So I guess I answered that question.
Very well answered. And for the second question, how to keep yourself to be motivated all the time kahit may burnout na po? And how to easily pick up yourself whenever you feel discouraged or disappointed in your personal performance, like your studies, work, and other aspects. So there's a sub question.
Okay, so yeah, let's go back. Let's have first the question na how to keep yourself motivated all the time kahit may burnout na po. There will really come a time that you will feel demotivated. No, it's not always all the time that we will experience goodness. We have to be able to accept the reality that there will really come a time that we will, kumbaga, experience being demotivated. Okay, however, such as having these kinds of symptoms, it is also quite important to pinpoint the root cause. Okay, by pinpointing what makes you demotivated, you would be able to come up with some solutions for yourself. Now, I have to emphasize this because not every one of us, or kumbaga, there is no one coping strategy that will eventually lead to erase every negative things or negative experiences that we will be experiencing. We have different we have different na experiences. Thus, not all of the coping strategies will be in a sense effective. Okay, but through this siguro once you have already pinpoint the reason as to why you feel demotivated, you can now go back. No, you can now go back as to the why. Okay, your why, what was the reason, what was the main reason, or what was the, kumbaga, the first thing that you had in mind as to why you joined kumbaga, law school. Okay, why is it that you joined law school? Be reminded of yourself about the very first thing that made you passionate about law school. Okay, so once you experience again being demotivated, you have to pinpoint what demotivated you and then try to remember the why. Okay, by remembering your why, there's a big chance that you will feel motivated once more. Okay, and for the second question, what was the second question again? Yan?
The sub question
I'm
is,
sorry.
and how to easily pick up yourself
Okay.
whenever you feel discouraged or disappointed in your personal performance, like studies, work, and other aspects.
Okay, how to easily pick up yourself though. I believe Chamara naman yung siya beauty contest, but I believe that there is really no easy way to pick up no yourself if you have experienced burnout, no. Kumbaga, it is a process still. No, just like experiencing burnout, it is also a process. No, let us not kumbaga agad-agaron ourselves to be able to experience once again the goodness of not having experienced burnout. It is also a process, man. Okay? It is also a process, slowly but surely, a process wherein we have to be able to pick ourselves up. Okay, so um I guess there's really no easy way to feel not being burnt out again. But if you have some type of kumbaga process, no, in order for you to feel encouraged once more, such as, say for example, reading the books that you want to read, be reminded with your why, then maybe taking small steps, okay, is already an accomplishment. Okay, so kato lang, dili lang na to agad-agaron. You slowly but surely, you will be developing, or you will be picking up yourself again. So I guess there's a chat box pod. I think it's important to know how to displace our stress in a healthy manner. Like our stress convert energy like exercising, painting, and other things we love the most. So I also agree with this. No, there is also we could also use this as what I've said. There's this what we call as cognitive appraisal, wherein we can use the things that has been problematic for us in a different way, in such a way that it will be helpful for us as well. So that I hope it answers the question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raven and Sir Raven and Sir Earl. How we wish we have more time to raise these questions live and hear from you. So, and now we are going to hear from our keynote speaker. Let's call in Joshua Matthew to introduce our speaker. Josh.
Hello. Okay, for our keynote speech, Mr. Alex D. Dumpa graduated with a degree in International Relations on 2017 as University Valedictorian and Magna Cum Laude with CGPA of 1.23 from the Mindanao State University main campus in Marawi City. In 2016, he won a national recognition as one of the 10 Jose Rizal Model Students of the Philippines. In 2017, he has represented the Philippines as an ambassador of goodwill to the 44th Ship for Southeast Asian and Japanese Youth Program, which took place in Japan, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, PDR, Malaysia, and Indonesia. In 2018, he once represented the country and the MSU College of Law during the 4th ASEAN Foundation Model ASEAN meeting in Singapore, where he was awarded a Diplomacy Award and their delegation, the Best Delegate Award by the ASEAN Foundation. At present, Mr. Alex is a fourth-year law student in MSU College of Law with a CGPA of 1.412. He has also been serving as president of the MSU Law Student Government since 2019 up to present for 29 months, making him the longest serving president in MSU Law history. He is also a member of MSU Legal Aid Clinic and writer of MSU Law Gazette. Kindly ready your heart reactions button for Honorable Alexander D. Dumpa, Commissioner of Legal Education Board.
Thank you so much, Matt, for the very humbling introduction. First of all, I would like to apologize for the delay and pasensya na po, medyo hingal po ako kasi kagaling ko lang po sa isa pang speaking engagement, like literal na 2 minutes ago. So let's begin. Assalamualaikum, all praises be to the Almighty and salutations to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May peace and blessings be upon us all. My courtesies to the officials, faculty and staff and of the MSU College of Law headed by our Dean, Attorney Annabel B. Canizares Mindalano, to our Assistant Dean for MSU Iligan Campus Extension, Attorney Joanna Alinog B. Sohor, the officers and members of MSU ILAC, Sarimanok Virtual Law Clinic, the Iligan Youth Mental Health Advocates, guests, fellow students of law and friends, magandang umaga po. I am humbled to have this opportunity to share with you how I deal with stress and anxiety as a law student. But this is not a professional medical knowledge, but only a personal take on the matter. Another disclaimer, what I will be sharing may not be your template, for indeed there is no one size that fits all. It's a matter of individuality. But still, I am hopeful that this may be of help. Pasensya na po, hingal lang po talaga. Pero sige lang, laban lang. As law students, I am certain that we are more than familiar with stress. Law students will be the first to tell you that law school is stressful. It is competitive, expectations are very high, and the entire journey in general is very daunting. In fact, in a certain study conducted by Dave Lee Foundation and also corroborated by other researchers, it was found out that the stress level among law students is 96% compared to 70% in med students and 43% in graduate students. Furthermore, according to that study, before entering law school, law students have a psychological profile similar to that of the general public. However, after law school, 20 to 40% of law students develop a psychological dysfunction. So what does this mean? According to this study conducted by the Dignity Foundation and by the American Bar Association, yung mga law students daw, pag pumasok sa law school, normal naman sila. They have the same psychological profile with that of the general public. And after law school, what happens? 20 to 40% of the students develop psychological dysfunction. And if you think that this research is not true, it is open for validation or contest, but I submit that this is actually true. You may notice or you have your own self, you can assess your own self na nag-iiba po yung pananaw natin sa buhay after law school. Minsan masyado po tayong bata pagpasok sa law school. After entering law school, grabe na po yung impact sa atin ng law school. Just maybe because yung mga books na inaral natin, for example, nung first year ka, ang subject natin, Revised Penal Code, Criminal Law 1. And yung lahat ng na-absorb mo, may isang kaso na isang infant, 6-month, ni-rape ng 6 na lalaki. So try to imagine the kind of problems that we absorb every day. Pinoproblema po natin yung problema ng ibang tao. So aside from very stressful yung lahat ng babasahin natin, nadadagdag pa doon yung mga problema nila. So that is actually one of the proof or evidence na there is really that possibility na nagkakaroon talaga ng psychological dysfunction ang isang law student after entering law school. In the 2019 bar exams, I don't know if this is disclosed, but mayroon pong during the second Sunday ng 2019 bar exams, may pumasok sa CR, nag-ask ng permission to go to the CR, to go to the bathroom. Morning yon. Tapos, hindi na po siya nakabalik. Why? Alam niyo yung ginawa niya sa toilet bowl? Ginamit po yung tubig, tas pinanligo niya. So try to imagine the torture that we put ourselves into. So this is indeed Jurassic Park. Now, stress can actually be a good thing sometimes. For example, the time crunch and pressure of final exams or the deadline of school requirements can actually improve your performance and help you get things done. Diba? I think most of us, ginagawa yan na pag malapit na yung deadline, grabe yung adrenaline rush. Natatapos natin agad lahat ng requirements. Because that kind of stress is actually good sometimes. But too much stress, especially the long-lasting kind, is not so good. It can lead to everything from headaches, weight gain, to heart disease and depression. It can also hurt your memory and cognitive abilities, which is the last thing you want in law school, not to mention as a professional lawyer. So what did I do to keep my sanity and to survive every single day of law school, which I think you may also do? First, take some comfort in knowing that what you're feeling is normal. Normal, not in a sense na yung nararamdaman mong is normal in medical parlance, but normal na lahat ng law students or 90% of the law students na experience yan. Everyone is trying to play it cool in law school. Depression exists in law school, but we just don't talk about it. And everyone has moments of doubt, struggles with the materials that they are reading, and feels like they are in over their head sometimes. I experienced one time na I have this exam, tapos hindi po ako natulog ng more than 48 hours. I was walking from Commercial Center dito sa IMSU Marawi, papuntang College of Law. I was walking, pumikit lang ako ng saglit at saka nanaginip na ako. I was walking, pero grabe yung stress na, gising ako noon, pero nanaginip ako. Grabe yung stress na nangyayari sa amin. Nangyayari sa lahat, sa karamihang law students. We also have this one class in remedial law na yung isang classmate namin, nasa front siya nakaupo, tapos nagkaroon ng emotional breakdown. May mga classmates din kami na hindi sila aware na grabe yung paglalaway nila or yung natutulog sila tapos naglalaway in front of the teacher. So that really happens. So I-expect po natin na yung teacher magagalit, but no, that teacher was so kind enough to understand the kind of rigor that we actually go through. So ngayong pandemic, mas lalong dumoble po yung stress, and the best thing that we should do is to be kind to people. We just have to understand na maybe mayroon silang pinanggagalingan. And I guess this is one of the trainings sa law school na we have to be advocates of the rule of law and we have to be kind to other people. Second tip, you need to learn how to deal with your stress in healthy ways. And the sooner, the better. It's important to be in touch with your stress levels. Take a step back to assess how you have been feeling because you may be more stressed than you realize. According to a study that I have read, which may be validated by other speakers, since they are more capable and expert when it comes to this field, Accordingly, isa po sa negative response ng stress sa law school is yung procrastination, yung anxiety, isolation, at saka yung wanting to give up. So if you know someone who is in law school na grabe yung pag-procrastinate, that only means na it could be a way or one of the negative responses na very stressed na siya. If you learn how to take care of yourself in law school, you will definitely survive and emerge victorious. Third, do not afraid to get help. When it comes to your mental health in law school, you don't need to go through it all alone. You don't need to pretend like everything is fine if it's not. You don't have to feel ashamed for asking help when you need it. It's also important to remember that getting professional treatment for mental health and even substance abuse does not appear on our bar exams results. This is one of the problems in our culture, especially with the Maranaos. Kasi feeling nila pag nagpa-consult po sila sa sa psychologist, baliw na sila agad, or there is that stigma na pag nagpa-consult ka sa nag-seek ka ng professional help for your own mental health ay mayroon ka ng ano yung sa Bisaya, naigamay. I don't know if that's the correct term. So please do not be afraid to get professional help. Fourth, prioritize the basics. What are these basics? Sleep, diet, exercise. This is basic advice, but it bears repeating. Getting enough sleep, eating right, and inserting in some exercise is critical in law school. Personally, I admit that I am one of those who hardly get more than 5 hours of sleep every day due to the piles of cases and the stocks of books that we need to read. In fact, I was supposed to speak po kaninang 9:30, but to be very honest with you, tulog po ako nung mga 9:15 pa yon. I received a tech call from a member of the Sarimanok Virtual Law Clinic, and I really apologize kasi 6 a.m. na po ako nakatulog, like for 4 straight days. 6 a.m. na po ako natutulog at saka 8 a.m. gumigising because of several things. Commitment sa law student government, commitment sa law school, at saka commitment po sa legal education board. But who am I to complain? Ginusto natin to. Sabi nga ng isang professor natin, ambisyosa kayo, nag-law school kayo, magdusa kayo. So panindigan na po natin. Laban lang. Granted, finding time to prioritize the basics in law school may feel impossible. However, we should strive to do so since these are the building blocks for good overall health and work prioritizing. Ibig sabihin po nito, although parang sa philo, appeal to wrong authority, I'm discussing na get enough sleep, prioritize the basics, pero ako din naman yung hindi sumusunod. We still have to follow this. What is the point of graduating in law school and passing the bar exams when after you graduate and after you pass the bar, you are physically hindi mo na kaya. Nag-graduate ka pero naka-wheelchair ka. Nag-graduate ka pero diretso ka sa hospital. So really, health is wealth. We have to prioritize our health before anything else. Fifth one, come up with an actual strategy. Come up with a real strategy for dealing with your stress and write it down. The next time that you are feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, what will you do? And what proactive steps will you take to reduce your stress in the future? For example, if you know that you get anxious before a test, na nangangapa ka or kinakabahan ka before exams, then assess yourself. You want to have a plan for dealing with it before a test day, like waking up early, getting to the classroom early so you can settle in and mentally prepare. In my case, hindi po ako yung taong pumupunta sa klase, for example, 10 a.m., pupunta po ako ng 10 a.m. No. I go there like 9:30 para po makasettle na ako. Hindi po ako komportable na maging late or pumunta on time like 10 a.m. Kasi pag nangyari po yun, nakakalimutan ko na po yung binabasa ko. So I have assessed myself na I need to avoid that. Otherwise, I will feel anxious all the time. So I think this will work with everybody, with everyone. Now you have to assess yourself so that you don't get anxious. Finally po, keep your eyes on the prize. Always ask yourself, why did you come to law school in the very first place? Sabi nga sa isang ad, para kanino ka bumabangon. Whether it's providing a great life for your family, accomplishing your professional goals, or pushing for policy changes, keep that reason on top of your mind and let it motivate you. After all, you'll be graduating from law school before you know it and the new adventure will begin. Again, find your core, dream big, do the work, and trust me, what you desire will be yours. May mga classmates po tayo sa law school na pag masyadong nagka-burnoutan na, they tend to decide na mag-give up na lang sa law school. But actually, if you know your purpose in entering law school, if you know your core in entering law school, hindi mo yan mapipil. And personally, I never felt that I want to give up in law school. Ang pinaka-extreme lang na na-feel ko is that I will fight although sobrang hirap na. So again, find your core, dream big, do the work, and trust me, what you desire will be yours. Do your best, and cliche, God will do the rest. That will be all. Thank you very much, and maraming salamat po. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Alex, for gracing the program despite your crazy schedule. It's also good to hear that as someone who represents the students in the legal education, you are also acknowledging the importance of mental health. Not just acknowledged, but very well researched. Thank you so much. At this point in time, to award the Certificate of Appreciation to our speakers, let us call in AD Joey. AD.
Yes, I was just waiting for the certificate to be flashed. Okay. So thank you. This is a certificate of appreciation. It is hereby given to Commissioner Alexander G. Dumpa for imparting his knowledge and experiences as the keynote speaker during the webinar entitled New Normal and Ways Forward, Managing Our Mental Health as Law Students During Pandemic, given this 26th of September 2021. Signed by the Sarimanok Virtual Law Clinic President, Audrey Michelle, and the supervising lawyer, yours truly, and Iligan Youth Mental Health Advocate President, Joshua Sanchez. So another certificate is hereby given to Mr. Earl Winmer R. Mangmang. Sorry, I'm familiar with these acronyms, for imparting his knowledge and experience as a speaker during the webinar entitled New Normal and Ways Forward, Managing Our Mental Health as Law Students During Pandemic, given this 26th of September 2021, signed by the Sarimanok Virtual Law Clinic President, Michelle Juan, and yours truly, the supervising lawyer, and Joshua Matu Sanchez, the president of IYMGA. Another certificate is also given to Mr. Raven Diamante, for imparting his knowledge and his experiences as the speaker during the webinar entitled New Normal and Ways Forward, Managing Our Mental Health as Law Students During Pandemic, given this 26th of September 2021, signed by the SLPC President, Audrey Juan, and yours truly, and the IYMG President, Joshua Sanchez. Thank you all.
Thank you, AD. And also thank you to Sir Raven and Sir Earl for imparting knowledge to us. And to finally close the program, let us call in the president of the Sarimanok Law Virtual Clinic, Ms. Audrey Michelle Kwan.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, but I think there's an echo.
Oh, okay, wait.
I think it's okay now.
Wala na?
Yeah, good.
Okay, thank you. So first, good morning and warm greetings to all. First, I would like to start by thanking our speakers for the very fruitful discussions. Thank you so much, Sir Earl Winmer and Sir Raven. It is a great pleasure to be here today with each and every one of you. Since the COVID-19 outbreak, numbers of people suffering from mental illness have climbed higher. And I can attest that being a law student is also a factor of the suffering. Let it be known pressure, burnout, stress, and anxiety. This has prompted us to conduct this webinar. The best time is now while classes have just started. We come up with this topic, new normal and ways forward, managing our mental health as law students during the pandemic. I believe that all of us are interested and eager to learn on how to cope with our situation right now and get some tips on how to improve our or protect our mental health during these times. As a fifth-year law student and being an active member of the student body ever since, and having workloads as an accountant and paralegal at the same time, I really went through tough times. Managing our mental health is as difficult as managing our time, but that's if without helping hands. So that's why it is important that we encourage people with mental health issues to seek help and normalize being our own therapist, equipped with the right knowledge on mental health. Our discussion today is a very valuable opportunity to learn and regain our mental health and well-being. So I hope that you have learned a lot and you make use of what you've learned, that it has enlightened you and got your drive back or motivation back if ever you've lost it. Now, get back on track and continue to fight. Remember that you are not going all through this alone. During tough times, remember to focus on yourself and connect with and acknowledge your feelings. To conclude this program, I'd like to thank the participation of our Assistant Dean for Clinical Education Program, Attorney Joanna Alinog de Socor, the Commission on Law Student Sector, Commissioner Alex Dumpa, and also the President of the Iligan Youth Mental Health Advocates, who's also a law student practitioner of Sarimanok Virtual Law Clinic, who initiated this event today, Mr. Joshua Matthew Sanchez. Finally, to all of you with us today, thank you for taking part in this meaningful webinar. Bringing together the collective experience of everyone here truly shows that mental health should be one of our top priorities. Before I go, I'd like to make an announcement on behalf of SVLC. Our recruitment process is still going on. You may apply as part of our editorial team, either on news and updates section, case digest, laws and ordinances, or as a layout artist. To apply, you may visit our Facebook page. We uploaded the link to the Google Google form that you must fill up and upload there at your sample entries. So the recruitment will close by October 3. So that's 1 week from now. So this coming another Sunday. So if you want to be part of our team, please sign up. Okay, so, now I'm giving the floor is our SLSC president here to make further announcements. President Fritz.
Thank you so much, President of the ILAC, Miss Audrey. Again, good afternoon, good noon, everyone. And also to our speakers, thank you for gracing with us, and also to IMHA, especially to Mr. Joshua, thank you for the support sa College of Law, and also to our MC, Ma'am Gian, thank you. So again, my task is to inform to you what are the events for today. Right now, the debate is actually having their arguments, the debate team is actually having their talk. Please watch the stream, support our debate team. It's actually streamed in the College of Law page, and as well as share namo sa SLSC and Nexus. So please support them. And for this afternoon, our events are of the following. First is the legal forum. So you are obliged to watch. There is a attendance given to the class reps, and also for this evening, we'll have the final rounds of the debate. Hopefully, makasulod itong debate team. And lastly is the closing and awarding ceremony this evening, which will be held at around 7 p.m. So I think that's all. Thank you. Ms. Audrey, thank you.
Thank you, Press Audrey, and to Press Fritz as well for taking time to be here. I know that you're busy as well right now. And before we leave the platform, I request everyone to please turn on your cameras so that we will have a photo op. Tech team, please facilitate.
I'll do the screenshots. Wait, I am having trouble. Ayan, okay na. Sige. We have 5 slides. So first slide, prepare your smiles. Open your cameras. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 1, 2, 3. Third. Wait, it's loading. Open your cameras. Okay, half ra ang naka-open. So 1, 2, 3. Ang fourth o fifth wala na. Okay, done. Thank you, Miss Yan. I'm good.
So again, thank you so much, everyone, for taking time to attend the webinar. I hope that everyone learned so much from the speakers, and I hope that there will be more of these activities in the future, right? So good day, and let's have our lunch. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for coming.
Picture sa tabi, mga kuan, SVLC, ay sa maghawa. Unattended na ning others ba? So, screenshot na lang tag-ato ha. Ato na i-crop. Pakita yung shirt. Wala nagsuot. Wala. So, Miss Ivan pud, oy, dura kayo. Wala jud gipon ni.
Asa man akong shirt?
Naman ko sa DNP good.
Ay, asa akong shirt?
No?
Ha?
DNP.
Di ba ikuha ninyo tanan?
Wala, uy, isa-isa. Isa may mo distribute. Yay, kay ato daw. Kuha.
Di ba gikuha ni mo ta? Ito man dito, di ba na ako nabasa?
Ilang ED ra to, ilang ED lang og kay commissioner.
Wala na gani mo. Wala na gani mo gi-appeal ako ano.
Kita ra. Hawa na silang mat no. Kita ra ni picture. Sige na ay, goodbye. We'll end our meeting. AD Joey, thank you so much. Naka-premium kag-ahat because of this.
Congrats.
Thank you, AD.
Bye, guys. Bye, AD.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Congrats. I-post ko ha sa ano.
Yes. Social media team will post this. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.